Can you stop your video, Aaron, please?
I can hide like my students. Okay, so I guess we're starting.
Okay. Let me just, before we go too far, just let me say that this is Matt Brown, friend of mine from college, and maybe he can introduce a little bit more about himself. But he was heard great things about Brighton. I assume great things, or at least things about Brighton, and that we are. He's interested in what our committee does, and maybe there's something there for them to do in Fairport, I guess.
Well, my bio really boils down to just the fact that I've known Mitch for so long. That's kind of the top line of every resume I've ever written. So no, I live in Fairport, as I have for the last 15 years. And for the last year and a half now, I've been on the village board. In the last 6 months, served as deputy mayor. I'm very interested in seeing what you're doing with the Sustainability Oversight Committee, as we are trying to grow an interest in something similar within the village and maybe even within the town. So I'm just here to observe, and I'm very, very pleased to be allowed to do that. So thank you for welcoming me to this meeting.
No problem.
Hey, Matthew, are you the person who wrote the impassioned Facebook post about how Fairport needs to evolve?
Yes, that was me.
It's great to meet you. I'm aware that we're recorded, but I was actually thinking about sending you a message, just kind of applauding you. That I was amazed that you put that out there, and it was incredible. So personally, thank you.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Certainly not all of the response to it has been quite so supportive, but you know, I think it's an interesting time to be alive, an interesting time to be in public service. A lot of potential to do a lot of good things. So thank you. That's very kind of you, sir.
You only know if you're doing something good when you get both positive and negative feedback.
Oh.
Make a real change then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why don't we get started? I guess, is there anything else under open forum? Nope. Can we review the minutes?
Yep.
Over?
Are you guys able to see my screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So I should have the minutes from February up. I'll just scroll through them slowly, and hopefully you can grab some information from there. A lot of this seems like this is a different time. The things have changed a little bit with the town, but reminisce.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I move.
I'll second that.
And I guess I forgot even the process of how we do this. It's been so long. All approve?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
All right, minutes are approved. Announcements? No. Anybody has any announcements, or Everett?
I don't have any current announcements. The closest thing to an announcement that I have is Robin just contacted me and told me that she'll try to make the phone call, but she's on a separate Zoom call right now. So hopefully we'll see her in a few minutes. That's about as much as I have here.
Okay. So I guess let's start with old business, but I guess Zoom procedure review and introductions. We sort of did, well, I don't know, we didn't really introduce ourselves to Matt, so, and
yeah,
maybe we should start with that, and then we could do Zoom procedure.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Everett, why don't you start with you?
Sure. So my name is Everett Garcia. I'm the assistant engineer for the town of Brighton. I serve as the staff liaison to the SOC from Brighton staff, and just help facilitate the meetings and just kind of along for the ride with you guys.
I am Erin Ryan, and I'm the chair of the Sustainability Oversight Committee, and I've been on the committee, I can't even remember now how long, almost maybe for the whole time. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm also an assistant professor of business at Wells College.
I'll go next. I'm Mitch Nellis, a resident of Brighton, and I've been on the committee for, I think now 3 or 4 years, amongst a couple other committees in Brighton, and I've been appreciative of all the work that we've been doing.
I guess I'll go. I'm Brian Lynch, probably the newest member of the committee. I've been on for, I think, just under a year. Background in solar development. I've worked in the solar industry for the last, I don't know, 18 years. Policy background, transitioning to project development. And my interest in joining the SOC was to lend my professional skills to improve the town where I'm raising my kids, and I want to give back in every way possible.
Good. I don't know if we can get Steve to unmute here. So I prompted him to unmute. Oh, there we go. Hi, Steve, we can hear you. Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Want me to introduce myself here?
Please.
Yeah, Steve Kittleberger. I've been on this committees forever, and try to help out where I can.
Great. Just real quick, I think anybody else on the phone call here? Nope. Wanted to quickly go through Zoom procedures. There's not much to it. This is all brand new to us, so please bear with us as we transition to having many of our meetings digitally. The process generally will work as it did this time. I will send out invitations with information on how to join the Zoom meetings. Generally, don't share. Well, you can share the information because we do have the open forum for the public in the beginning. I also go and post all of this information. If you guys have been on our website, on the homepage, there's a little button here called Live Streaming Video. So if you go there, this will take you to all of the current or upcoming meetings information. So zoning board is also going on at the same time tonight. Generally, I would be live streaming to YouTube as well. However, I did not want to cause any issues as we only have one town YouTube account with the zoning board tonight. So I'm just doing the Zoom meeting, and then I will upload the meeting to YouTube later on. So our meeting's here. You can click join here. The ID is here. The password, I only update this site on the day of the meeting to include the password. So if you don't see the password the first day when you check it out, don't worry, it will be there on the day of the meeting. Our agendas will be posted. I'll be better about posting them under the agendas and minutes, so you can go ahead and go here. If you didn't get it via email, just scroll down to Sustainability Oversight Committee agenda, and the current agenda will be found there. That's pretty much it for process and procedures. The next big thing, as Erin indicated, these will be recorded, so just be cognizant of that. Usually no big deal, but just be aware. That's pretty much all I have for that, Erin. I don't know if you want to move into the next item here.
Sure. And I think also most of us are done a lot of video calls by now. Just, I think we should remember to mute ourselves if we're not speaking. And you can also put something in the chat, right, Everett, because he will download the chat. Yeah, so if you have questions or comments or anything like that, put them in the chat box. I'll have copies of that. If it's something important that maybe we should remember, like a URL or anything like that, the chat box is generally a good way to share that information. Okay. All right. So moving along, the Brighton Neighbors United presentation. So that was March, I was looking at the notes. When was that? It was right before the shutdown, March 1st or something, or yeah, I think around March 1st. Shubhangi and I ended up co-presenting to Brighton Neighbors United. We ended up, I thought we were going to have a technology to do a PowerPoint. So I had a PowerPoint presentation prepared. I printed it out just in case. And probably my fault, I didn't double check. There was no technology there, which was fine. It was more informal. We shared, highlights of, first of all, who we are, our history, kind of timeline, some major highlights and things we're working on. And as you expect, most people were not aware of us and had a lot of questions. I think, I wish Shubhangi's here, someone from the community, the energy, someone else was presenting, the community solar, Everett, yeah, I don't, so that was sort of nice, and there were a lot of questions about that in particular. I don't have anything major to report on it, but it was just a very nice opportunity, and I know it's something as a goal we've been trying to reach out to the public more, and hopefully we can continue to do this.
Are you saying someone was presented from the CCA?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I can't remember who. I know her and I have her face and I've met her before. So there was a lot of confusion about CCA, by the way, as we expected. And
what was the confusion?
What is the difference between, first of all, like, an ESCO, like another ESCO that seems like it's solar, the community solar versus CCA, also very confusing to the public. So at that time, this was March.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, was the confusion, was it the CDG? Is it the same, is it the community distributed generation stuff that's confusing folks?
I think it's just, there's so many different types, and remember we looked at a presentation by Margie Pete a while ago and how they're going to try to educate, and we had thought there was confusion, some of that confusion came up again, as well as there were phone calls being made directly to citizens to join an ESCO, making it sound like they were the CCA and they're not. So
maybe we should pass that on to Bill or the town to say there needs to be a little more clarification about what that is and when it's happening.
Well, hopefully Robin was there, so hopefully that got passed along. But maybe I think that's something, hopefully we can check in to find out what the status is. And I know they're working on more materials, right, Everett?
Yeah, that is my understanding, yep.
So I imagine there's some people that are buying into some of those green power ESCOs, and then all of a sudden we're going to go with the CCA, and then they're going to be like, well, what was the point of me doing what I did? Maybe the town should get out ahead of that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think we saw some emails about this before. I think maybe from Paul. He had shared the same concerns. He had received some of these phone calls. I think it was Paul. I could be mistaken. So I think some of the board members are aware, and I'll be sure to touch base and follow up with Robin on that.
Would it be worthwhile, and maybe this falls under ways to create greater awareness to what this group does, but to hold an SOC-led discussion about the difference between community choice and ESCO purchases? I try and stay out of the Brighton Friends and Neighbors Facebook group, but occasionally this question comes up, and I do try and answer it, and then retreat back into the, I didn't see any of that. But there seems to be, high level of confusion as well as engagement in the topic. And if we hosted a Facebook Live or something, moderated, not advocating anyone does anything, but just answer questions, it might be a good way for us to increase visibility of the SOC and also get in front of the confusion.
Yeah, and I think Yeah, that's a great idea, Brian. And I also think that as part of our CCA consultants' duties or tasks, that is one of the things that they're going to be doing or will be doing is, sharing information and educating the public on what they're offering and the differences. But yes, that is a great idea.
We could potentially tag team it, have that person do like the first 30 minutes, and then we could explain, other things like why people are getting these phone calls and what is a deregulated energy market. I mean, all these questions that people are just blissfully unaware of until they start receiving literature or phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Everett, will you check in on that and see if that's something we can help support? Because I think if we could do our own facilitation, it doesn't hurt to get the information out there.
Yeah, so I'll touch base with Robin and find out exactly what the scope of our consultant is at this point and where we're at anyways, just from a timeline point of view, and kind of go from there, and I'll report back at our next meeting, or even via email before that.
Okay. Can we move on to Climate Action Plan grant update?
Yeah, there's not much here. As you guys are aware, the town of Brighton was awarded a grant with a matching grant for the Climate Action Plan. This is a copy of the letter that we received from the DEC. So essentially where I'm at right now is I am finalizing the contract document with New York State. So as part of that, basically, I had to develop a budget and then a work plan that is pretty specific to the structure required by the Grants Gateway and New York State. So this is just a copy of the document here. This is the work plan, so this is part of the grant submittal. So a lot of this came from the application document, so a lot of it's just kind of pulling, but it does take a little bit of work. Some of the language has to be specific to how New York State is requiring it. So there's objectives. I think there's 5 objectives. Each objective has tasks, and then each task has measures of how to measure performance of those tasks. Some of them are just submitting documents to the DEC for the grant here, our Climate Smart Community Program. So I'm working through that. I'm almost done. I have to finalize the budget document, upload all of that. There's some documentation to go along. Once that has been finalized and uploaded to New York State Grant Gateway, we will be able to finalize and officially sign the grant document. And once that's signed, I will be reaching out to the SOC as the executive committee or the guiding committee to the grant. And then we can sit around and discuss. You should all have gotten a copy of the last version of the RFP that we put together. We can't really talk about it much right now because as part of the grant, what we're counting on as part of our match is any time that the SOC volunteer members put into the grant gets quantified into the grant at specific rates. And so any work that we do towards it counts as part of the town's match. So as part of the match, the town will be putting $20,000 cash, and then there's staff time, staff effort, SOC time, SOC efforts. So all of that kind of makes up our matching portion. So I did send this out just so that you guys can kind of refresh your minds and think about what the RFP will be asking for or should look like. And if you do have any comments, as soon as the grant is signed by both parties, we can kind of hit the ground running and go from there. So what I did is I updated the schedule that we had put together a long time ago. I think it's the old one. To try to see where will we finish this project here, assuming, I get everything uploaded to Grants Gateway, I can get things signed and approved by the board by the end of July or so. Kind of go through our process where we develop the RFQ. Most of that's already done. We just have to put the final touches on it. We review it with the committee, revise for comments, and then we go out and advertise the RFQ. Right now, I'm looking at maybe end of August for advertising. We keep it out on the streets 2 to 3 weeks. We receive the proposals, review them, schedule interviews with potential consultants, select consultants. This is taking us through like October here, formalize the agreement. As part of that, I have to kind of go back and forth with Climate Smart Communities, New York State DC as well, because they have to be okay with everything that we're doing. I added I try to shorten up as much as we can because I think we can shorten up some of the schedule through these Zoom meetings. Before, a lot of our schedule was based on meeting in person and trying to coordinate through like regular SOC meetings mostly and all of that. I think we can shorten a lot of that through these Zoom meetings. Kind of go through there, I think around, have a consultant, then select a consultant, kickoff meeting around winter, November there. Have them develop and present to the SOC a public participation plan, prepare presentation information, schedule workshops, kind of have us finishing and approving everything in the spring of 2020, it should be 2021, I'm sorry. Yeah, these should be 2021. So around the spring of 2021, we've always kind of looked at this kind of like a 1-year time frame for the project, taking everything into account. So that's kind of what I have and where I'm at. So kind of stay tuned. I'll keep you posted as we move forward. Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns?
I'll break the awkward silence and say no. That was good. Thank you.
Okay, good.
I
know I threw a lot, and if anything's confusing, I know most of this we've seen before, but I just kind of wanted to provide an update for you guys. It seems like all of this had happened a lifetime ago. So certainly, if any other questions come up, feel free to email me or call me at any time.
Has anything been put off because of the hiatus we've been on, or is everything basically on track?
So far, I haven't heard anything. I took a look at the budget. The money's in there. I can't make any guarantees. I don't know if anything's going to change. But so far, I'm moving forward along as if, things are just, it was a pause and now I'm resuming. For state, nothing. I haven't heard any different. They're still working with me on the whole process. So. As far as I know, we're moving forward. As soon as I hear otherwise, though, I will certainly let you know.
And the money hasn't changed at all because of budgetary issues caused by all this? Or?
I have not heard for this particular project. Yeah, there is some talk of that around the town. Certainly, there are some concerns because of profit sharing with the county and reductions and windfalls and that type of stuff. But as of right now, I have no better answer. I will certainly do my best to find out if anything does change, and I will certainly let you know. But as of right now, I'm just continuing and moving along forward.
Nice work.
Yeah.
It's exciting news. Fingers crossed. So.
Yeah, for sure. Closer than we've been. Aaron, do you want me to do development updates?
Yeah, why don't you do development updates?
So for development updates, not much. Things are moving slow because things were shut down for a bit. The winter farmers market, that is something that is moving along. Basically, we've received approved bids and selected a contractor for phase 2. I missed an E here. That's essentially the interior renovations of the barn. So that's the HVAC systems, electrical systems, water systems. Basically, it's going to make the barn habitable. So we're looking to have a pre-con with the contractor who's actually the same contractor that performs the exterior renovations. so it should be pretty easy going. We're looking to meet with them on July 15th to kick off the project officially. I have been working on the utility design, so bringing water, sewer, and electrical and gas to the building. Most of that's already in place. At this point, it's just a matter of trying to get them scheduled and installed. So RG&E is ready to go. It's just a matter of basically paying them for the improvements and then getting it installed. So throughout the summer, there'll be quite a bit of work going on over at the farmers market. At the same time, I am continuing the civil site design for the revised layout. So we kind of missed that. I don't know if you all had a chance to visit the website. We initially intended on having a public forum for the updated site layout for the farmers market, but due to the public health emergency, that all was canceled and it changed. But what we did is we took all of our documents and posted them on the website, sort of in hopes of having a digital workshop, and they should still be available up on there if you want to take a quick look. But we put quite a bit of work into them, so we wanted to make sure that folks got to see them. So I'm taking a lot of these schematics. This was the old version of coming off of the existing drive there, and we've shifted over to creating a new access point from Avalon Drive after discussions with Monroe County DOT. So we've put this together, and I'm currently performing the actual civil design for this so that we can pursue construction probably at some point next year, maybe spring next year. So that's that with the farmers market. Geothermal ordinance, not much has changed. As you're aware, we've had some issues with installations of geothermal heating because of methane pockets. We continue to work with the contractors. We now have a permitting system in place where we at least obtain contact information from the contractors in case something does happen. Whereas before we had nobody to contact or call. The contractor would leave the site once a methane pocket was hit, and then it was mass chaos with emergency services and residents and neighbors and all that. So at least we have a process in place. We know where they're occurring, and we're kind of playing it by ear. Highland Crossing.
Hold on, I got a question. Sorry. So is the permit changes done, or are they still in progress because you were delayed because of COVID?
Permitting for what?
To create, you said you need to change the permitting guidance for the geothermal. Because it looks like it's in the process here, or was it done?
Oh no, we have a permitting process in place, but we do not have an ordinance in place. So the permitting process is essentially we just decided to create a form and obtain contact information and process it through our building department, but we still do not have a ordinance similar to like solar or anything like that. So yeah, so we get the permit, but there's no like ordinance at the town level. Highland Crossing Trail, that is officially open. Please check it out. It is amazing, similar to all of the other trails. 1925 South Clinton, as you can see, construction has continued. We believe they are on track to open maybe late this summer or fall. That's the Doodlebug facility there. Town Hall HVAC, this is part of the CIP, ongoing CCA. I don't have a better update on this. I was hoping maybe to talk to Robin on the phone call here. But I know that we've selected a consultant, and I don't know if we finalized the contract with them, but essentially the next step is to develop RFP for the services. So the consultant will take care of that, and I know they are also in charge of public education and outreach. So there is some of that will be coming soon. So stay tuned, and if I get a chance to talk to Robin, I'll get some more information for you. Townwide street lighting, we continue, never giving up on this project. Mike often jokes about that, you know, he started his time here at the town with the Highland Crossing Trail and is close to finishing with the Highland Crossing Trail. This might be my project here. Ever since I joined the town, this has been something that we've tried to get done, and hopefully we'll get it done one of these years. But we do continue discussions with RJ&E on this. This project, East Avenue there, is complete. Rose Garden, landscaping has been installed. I need to check if we finalized those 2 trees, what the status is on that. Climate action plan, hopefully we went through some of that. Grant is moving along. I'm trying to formalize it and complete it so that it can be officially signed and we can get going on moving the project along. Multiversity is similar. We obtained a grant from Climate Smart Communities as part of the New York State CFA grant program there. And I'll be working with Ramsey and helping him continue that project along. The multiversity concept is something that came out of our guidance document, Envision Brighton. So it's something that we're looking at studying, and now we have a grant that can provide some guidance on how to proceed with it. Highway management plan, that's something that's kind of currently ongoing. We're developing our GIS system to kind of guide us and aid us in our budgetary process, which is becoming more and more important each day. Do you guys have any questions, comments? So that's all I have on that. Aaron, I don't know if there's anything you want me to expound on, or do you have any?
No. Any questions on old business? Steve, do you have any questions?
No, nothing from here.
Okay.
Okay.
Any new business?
So I think we're going to try to meet again, right, Aaron, in August, unless I hear something from the grant project.
Yeah, normally, right. Normally we don't meet in August, correct?
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I think we should put it on the calendar in case, in thinking that this grant hopefully will be happening.
Yep.
If that's okay with everybody. And we haven't met since March. And I also was thinking, I just realized, and we should have discussed it in our pre-meeting, the CIP.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something, or is everything sort of like delayed from the town level? Like that might be something we have to discuss too in the future.
Yeah, let me find out. There was some initial CIP discussion, but then, you know, I haven't seen folks at the town for a few months now. Yeah, let me find out where a lot of that stuff is. Yeah, because, you know, I even have our annual report, right? Our SOC annual report, or the new benchmarking report that we're supposed to be doing every year. That all kind of got put on hold, so hopefully that's something I can pick up this summer, and we'll go from there, and I might be asking for some information, certainly input from the committee before we finalize those documents. But yeah, let me look into a lot of that stuff and see kind of where everything's at.
Great. Any other questions?
Matthew, are you all set? Any questions? You know, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. No, this is, I'm sure I'm going to have tons of questions. I want to go back and kind of review everything. I think what you guys are doing here is fantastic, and I'd really like to see something like this present in my community. So thank you.
Great, we're happy.
It was great to have you along. I did have one little thing that's kind of fun. With Color Bright and Green, we got a plot of land by a church, the First Baptist Church on Allen's Creek and Clover, and we've got about a couple dozen, maybe a dozen trees that we're hoping to plant this fall street side in the town. So I'm going to be working with the town for permits and residents that are willing to do that. Just kind of a fun thing on the side. Then we're going to look to use this plot of land to sort of grow some trees that we can just fill up Brighton and increase the urban shade cover. You stop by, it's pretty cool if you look at it. We got a good variety of trees growing
All right, yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, will you send the location or let Everett know so you can put it in the minutes?
Yeah, I'll send
When
it.
you're
I'll send
ready
it
to,
around.
yeah.
You can just stop
Great.
by and check it out. It's not that terribly big, but there's about I don't know, 100 trees there that over the next few years we're hoping to get
That's
out
awesome.
into the town, rotate them in and out, that kind of thing.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, well, I guess, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
In second?
I'll second. Let Steve have it.
And by the way, guys, if you have any suggestions or comments on this whole process, if you feel like anything could change and make it better, certainly feel free to let me know. I am very flexible, and this is by no means set in stone. We're kind of learning as we go, so certainly very open to feedback.
My
I think
only
it went well.
comment was, I agree. I think it went great. Super efficient, which I always appreciate. Back over the winter, we had each taken one or two like tasks that we were going to lead, and clearly no one has done anything on that for the last 3 months. But it might be good in the agenda and maybe prompt people week in advance. Let's start reporting on what those subgroup topics were, and try and start advancing those where we can.
Great idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be great to have those be a regular piece. It might force our hand a little bit to be a little more active.
All right, well, if that's it, I want to thank you all and for our guest, Matt, and I hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July and a safe holiday.
Thanks. See you guys.
You too, guys.
All right, take
Enjoy
care.
the long weekend, guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve.